All right, everybody, this is my painful tour of the latest Windows 10 technical preview build. As you can see, it's basically all about the desktop, even though they said they were adding many more consumer-focused features. One of the things they added was Cortana, but it's really not a very good Cortana. It's not the actual voice, it's the computer-generated voice. And as you can see, they tried to bring in some of the function similar to the Cortana app on the Windows Phone. And it's okay, but it's really basically lame. You got your settings for the notebook, so you can edit the notebook, reminders, places, settings, and so forth. Oh, and as you can see, if you've got Office 365 installed in there on your machine when you upgraded, it basically wrecks it. So I've been letting this try to repair Office for the last 20 minutes so far. So that's annoying. Which means that the OneDrive program is not working correctly. It's, in this case, it says 767 files weren't uploaded, and then you click on more info, and then it gives you a list of all these files that it's having trouble with. And each one says, open the document in Office for more info. And then you try to do that, it goes into a loop showing that there's a problem with it can't validate the authentic installation of Office 365. So I've been going through the repair process that it recommended, which is just a joke. Again, not a lot different from Windows 7 or the desktop side of Windows 8. The start button by default brings you to that stupid faux start menu that all the whiners from Windows 7 were insisting on having. The only way you can get it to go into a full screen mode and sort of get the Metro apps to work the way they normally do in Windows 8 is you have to turn on the tablet mode. And let's see if I can even figure out how to get to that. Go settings. So this is what the settings look like. Basically, they're trying to move everything off of the old settings in the control panel. And let's see, where was it? Was it System? Again, it took me a while to figure out where this was. Oh, there we go. So here's some of the settings that in the old settings capability on Windows 8 you could find. So you got this tablet mode, and you've turned that off. Let me turn that off. And so now everything runs, and I don't know what any of what these garbage things are here. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's just poorly designed. I mean, what's this blue border that only goes part way around? But anyway, so what that means now you can't see the can't even move it now. That's great. So you can't close the window. Lovely. Except if you can right click here and close the window. Lovely. Again, I attribute a lot of these inconsistencies to issues with the it's not a finished build by any stretch. So now without tablet mode, we can click on, well, I guess it's now, let me switch it back. This is the garbage that you get, and this is what all the whiners from Windows 7 actually like. Is they like their stupid programs list over here and then merging the quasi live tiles over here. And I'm sorry, this is not acceptable to me. I love the start screen. I live on the start screen. I only put things on the desktop when they have to run there. But I keep my taskbar empty. I hate the taskbar. I have no use for the taskbar other than when there's things that I'm forced to use the taskbar with. I much prefer using the mouse to access everything as if it was my fingers, if I was on a touchscreen. The only reason I should ever touch the keyboard is if I'm actually typing something. I hate using the keyboard for the shortcuts. I should never have to use the shortcuts, but that's about the only way that you can get anything done. So anyway, then you click on your all apps and it's here. So the only thing you can do, you can switch to tablet mode. And let me see if I can bring back up the settings, see if that'll work at all. Where was that? Go back. Settings. See, this is ugly. Display. All right, switch back to tablet mode on. Okay, so this sort of pushes things to run in a regular full screen mode if it's Metro style. You can't apparently. There you go. So you can sort of snap them, but it puts them basically back on the desktop. And then you can resize. In other words, it doesn't do anything with the Metro apps any different than it does with desktop programs, which I have a problem with. I like the way Metro snaps things. And in fact, I can snap the desktop onto a portion of the screen, and I'll show you this when I switch over to one of my Windows 8 devices, and still have my Metro apps up here running cleanly. But you see, this is just horrible design. Let me see if I can get this to close. So you can, in tablet mode, you can actually drag these down again, which you couldn't do with the previous build. Everything had the stupid red X and the title bar on it. Okay, so let me switch back to this. This is what, when tablet mode with full screen, this is what it looks like, the start screen. And you've got these weird, you can't get rid of these. You cannot delete them. There's no right-clicking you can do. All you can do is change them. And then there's, of course, there's not intuitive, but you have to, in order to move these, you have to click on the little ellipsis button, and then you can move those. It took me a while to figure that out. You can sort of move these around. And I don't know what that is either, this little dots. I guess it's another unmarked one. I probably can type something in there. Yes. And you can't get rid of them. They're there. So basically, with this start screen, it's not even a start screen. It's just a start menu run in full screen, which is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. The only thing you can do is move between two different columns, and then everything has to scroll up. Okay? And then you've got this garbage over on the side. I don't want to see this. I want to see only live tiles, or only tiles. I don't want to see this places category, and you can't do anything with it. You can only pin to start. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm already on the flippin' start screen, and I see these. Why would I want them here and here at the same time? Why? No. So I want to be able to get rid of this and get rid of recently added. I only want and oh, by the way, now when you click on the all apps, again, an endless scroll. No jump list. You can't click on a letter and go to a jump list, nothing. All it does is they've apportioned the left side of the start menu, run in full screen mode, to show you all this garbage, and then you have to click on the little tiny hard to read back button. And then of course your account information is this tiny little thing up here, and this is where you can do your change account settings and lock and sign out and all that garbage. So this is just unacceptable. This is ridiculous. Let's see, the store beta for Windows 10 is equally disgusting. So, what is this? Okay, scrolling left and right, and oh, now you can scroll up and down if you move over here. Oh, but I moved over here, now what? Oh, I'm scrolling left and right. Oh, I can't, how do I scroll? What is this? Who's smoking weed? I swear, it's made by people from Oregon and Colorado. This makes no sense. None of this design makes any sense whatsoever. It's horrible. It's horrible. And then you have to be very careful when you try to actually exit. Let's see if I can. Nope. Still working on trying to repair my office. Lovely. Let's see. Okay. Every time I reboot, and sometimes just if it's idle long enough, I lose my Wi-Fi connection. And of course, you click on it, it brings you to. Now it's connected. Now, interestingly, I have to go in here every time and check the connect automatically, and yet it doesn't work. it doesn't actually remember to do that. Then we go back to settings. Here's your personalization. That's all you get. Can't personalize anything else, whereas you used to be able to personalize your actual start screen, which you don't have a start screen anymore. You have a start menu that tries to pretend to be a start screen when you run it full screen mode, and it works nothing like the old start screen. And pretty much all the real mouse functionality is gone. The only thing they brought back for this that wasn't in the previous W10 Win 10 builds was when you're in tablet mode, this works. But you can't go over to the side, even though I've got on the taskbar, which shouldn't be showing when I'm in the start screen. You can't turn it off. But if I go in here and look at the properties, there's nothing to turn it off. You can do the auto hide, and then that breaks too. That doesn't even work correctly. But auto hide is not the same thing as not having the taskbar on there at all. I never want to see the taskbar ever. Let's see, navigation. Well, I've got this checked. I've always had this checked. When I point to the upper right corner, show the charms. Well, there are no charms. Here I am at the upper right corner. Here I am at the upper right corner. Do you see charms? No. And at least in the previous build, you could do the Win C button, the Windows and C button, and that would bring up the charms. But no, as you can see, that brings up nothing. And bringing up the swiping up the upper left should show me any running Metro apps. None of that's there. Everything you do is now forced to be on the desktop and with this taskbar. And oh, by the way, one of the greatest things about Windows 8 that I loved from the beginning was that when you're on your start screen, all you have to do is just start typing. I'm typing. There's nothing happening. Nothing happening. You could just start typing, and I'm going to illustrate this when I switch over to the Windows 8 machine. When you start typing, it automatically begins searching both locally and on the web for whatever you're looking for, and it would show it up on a bar on the right side, and then you could select from the items that showed up and execute it. Now you absolutely have to go to this Windows 95 through Windows 7 search bar. That's the only thing you can find it in. Tweetium, see if it finds that. So right off the bat, it's searching for the web. You have to click on here to search my stuff. Oh, no files found. Really? And yet, how do I even get out of this? Escape? Let me try escape. Yeah, that works. And yet, there's Tweetium, folks. There's Tweetium. It's in my stuff. It's an app on my machine. I run it, and look, there's the stupid taskbar again for Tweetium. And then what is this bar? I move up here to the top, move the mouse to the top, and now I've got this bar that's, again, largely disappearing off the screen. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. So I'm going to drag it down and make it go away. All right, so let's go over to the server and show you how that works. We'll wake it up here. All right, so this is our server, our media server, running Windows 8. Now you'll notice all the live tiles are nice and clean there, and they're broken down by groups that you can easily change. Name the group. Nice and clean. I can organize them however I want to. If I go down to the bottom and bring the corner down, I can rearrange entire groups, or I can move tiles to a specific group. So easy to do. I can grab this one. If I want to bring it over to this group, I can drop it in. It's so easy to do. And then just click on it, brings it forward. Now, I can go to all apps just by going down here to the down button. Now look at this. Look how nice that is. Easy, much easier to read. You see much better thumbnails of your apps. You can sort easily by name. You see it's starting, and guess what? If I click on this, it goes to a jump list. How cool is that? Just like on Windows Phone. So I've got a jump list, and I can go right to M for Microsoft or whatever. And so there I am. I'm right there. I can pick things I want. I can right click. I can unpin from start or pin from start. If it isn't there, I can find it in my start, and it will go right to it. So I'll click on find and start. Oh, wow, there it is. So let me go back here. See, it's highlighted. Let's see. I can sort by date installed. Wow, so it's showing me most recent versus things that were older. I can sort by most often used, so you can see the stuff that I use most frequently. And then by category. See books and reference, entertainment. It's so easy. It looks great. It's easy to use, and you can customize and have the background image you want. It looks great. Now, what I was talking about, you can type anything and find it. So let me search for. I'm gonna just start typing. Tweedium. Look at this. And there it is, right off the bat. It shows me, oh, I can install the app because I don't have it on this machine. This is not the regular account that I use. And so everything above this line is things that I can do locally. And then the rest of this is all searches on the web. Let's pull up, and it automatically changes right with it. And see, I didn't have to, it automatically brought up the search bar just because I started typing. So let me type in Skype. So look at that. It shows me on my machine, I have the actual app, I have the Wi-Fi version, I have the link to, I do actually have a link to the website, and then I have some settings that I can use. And then everything below here is searchable on the web. Now true, I still have a search bar, but I didn't have to go to it. I could just start typing, which is what makes it so easy in Windows 8. Even if you want to keep a very clean start screen, you can put just the stuff you really use all the time there. And then everything else can simply reside either elsewhere on your computer or here in your apps and programs. Okay? And this does show you not just apps, modern apps or Metro apps. It also shows you things that are actually installed legacy, like Notepad, Calculator. All the Office stuff is currently still the desktop version. So everything that you have installed, all you have to do is simply begin typing. Anything you want, you simply begin typing, and it automatically brings that up. Not true in Windows 10. Let's see, what were some of the things? Oh, so when you bring up let me bring up music. Okay. So I'm bringing up the music app, all right, and it's going to look at my, which I don't really have. Let me go to Explore. Should have done this on my production machine because I already have a bunch of stuff loaded up. There we go. All right, so this is the music app. Now, what if I don't care about that. So what if I want to do stuff on the desktop? Let me go back to the start screen, and I will, well, let me just bring up the desktop. So I bring up the desktop. All right, so there's the traditional desktop. It's really no different other than you don't have the old start menu down here, but you can right-click and bring all the major settings that you typically use, programs and features, etc. You can bring all that up, control panel and everything. But everything else works just the same as Windows 7 on the desktop here. So people who are complaining about the functionality of Windows 8 compared to what they could do on Windows 7, they're just full of garbage if they say that you couldn't do what you needed to do. Everything works exactly the same. You can have all the programs that you want on here. See this File Explorer. You can do all that stuff. Now, watch what happens when I go over to the left. Now it shows me, oh, I have a couple of different things going on here. When I move my cursor down, oh, so now I have a bar that shows me Metro apps. Now let's say I want to bring up the music app, but I don't want to run it full screen. So I just click and drag it, and look, it immediately shows a separation bar. Now I can drop it in. So, and I can resize this. So now I can still do stuff on a miniaturized version of my desktop. So I can still do legacy things here and still listen to music over here or play with the Metro apps. Let's say I want to switch from that to my little search that I was using. So I can bring the search over there, and it's searching, it's showing my search window adjusted for that. And I still can do all my legacy stuff on the desktop side. Okay, easily adjustable. No issues there. And then if I want to, I can either click on the X, or I just prefer doing this, and it's gone. And then I can snap the whole thing to full screen. Piece of cake. Now, what I was talking about, the charms bar. Okay, I go over here, and I move up to the upper right corner, and now I have my charms. I can go to my settings, go to devices, go right to the start from there. I can share things, or I can search from there as well. Now, what I liked about this is the settings are in Windows 8 are app context specific. So if I go back here, let's say I want to bring up, let me bring up the music app again. Let me also run the what's another one? That'd be a good one. Let me bring up the calendar. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing. Now I'm going to actually bring up the mail app. All right. Now, when I move over here and bring up the charms, or if I press the Windows and C key, and I click on settings, it knows that I want to do the settings for this app. So look, it says settings for mail. I can work on the accounts, set the options, etc. And I still have access to some of the system-wide type configurations. Now, if I switch to the music app, and I go over here and bring up the settings. Wow, settings for the music. Again, all sensitive to that. Now, you might ask, what happens if I bring up both? Well, the center bar here gives you an ellipsis with a vertical bar, if you'll notice. The vertical bar tells you which is your active app. So if I click back over here where it will focus. So if I click over here, notice that bar moved to the right. So it tells me I've got focus over here. So when I bring up settings, it's settings for music. If I switch to here, switch focus over to the mail app, and then bring up settings. The settings are for mail. So it's context sensitive. But I know I can always go with my mouse. Notice on all of this, I've not touched my keyboard to do any of this. All of this is doable through the mouse. The only time I ever have to touch the keyboard is if I'm actually typing something, if I'm working on an Excel document or something. So those are just some examples of comparing Windows 8 to Windows 10 and why I absolutely hate Windows 10. It's just a bad design, bad concept to go backwards to satisfy the people who couldn't get off of the Windows XP, Windows 7 way of doing things. Even though there was no loss of what you could do in Windows 7, or loss of what you could do in Windows 7 moving to Windows 8. So that's my opinion of Windows 10 at this point. That compared to that. It's disgusting.